snowfall that happens is far and few between now. The birds are chirping. It is slowly and oh so slowly here in Michigan starting to feel like spring. I was so motivated and so inspired a couple days ago that I went and just decided to spruce up the home and kind of bring what I know the outside will look like soon for us out here into our home. I am not one to decorate for every single season of the year. I usually do like 2 main decors, and this like spring decor honestly lasts up until the fall/winter, and then I will kind of change that out too. But today I was just itching. I had gone to the thrift store. I had thrifted a couple of baskets, some new things to me, and I also had gone to Home Goods and found just some really beautiful little things that I felt like added such a touch. So today I'm putting all of those things together. So we're starting in the foyer. This area has been so difficult for me to decorate because we do have vaulted ceilings that are really tall, and it's a bit of a challenge for me, and my husband was not home at the moment, and so you'll see me kind of place picture frames where I desire them to go, but I don't actually hang them up because I do like my husband to approve of it first before I make holes in the walls. So I saw this painting at Home Goods, and oh my goodness, I just thought it was so beautiful and matched so well with the green that we have in here. But I always struggle with this corner. I've had different vases in here, but it's just such a tall space that I really struggle with like filling it out but making it look cohesive. So I did end up switching this pot because it was just a little bit too white and too stark. And now that I'm looking at the footage, I don't know if the issue is the color of this like chest that we have. I got this on Facebook Market like 2 years ago, and I've always loved the color and the tone and the texture. It's just such a beautiful piece, but I feel like she could use something to change her color a little bit. It's just a little bit too red for me now, but we'll see. I also just had some Christmas decor that was lingering around that I guess I forgot to put away. This Christmas was really difficult for me because I was really in the trenches with my morning sickness and not morning sickness, all day sickness. I was throwing up nonstop all day long. I never had ease with that. And so when it came to Christmas time and Christmas decor, that was something that wasn't really a priority, and clearly putting it away wasn't a priority too because I had a couple of stragglers here. But again, I'm just keeping things very simple, minimal. You'll see the main colors that I'm using are blues, greens, whites, like white flowers, pinks, yellows, and oranges. Basically just like every color. I'm kind of just trying to take a space that was more bland and just adding a little bit more color. And what you'll frequently see me do, and this is kind of like what I do in my head, I am just so visual. I will think of how something will look. Like I thought this blue flowery vase would look so beautiful because of the blue and the colors, but then it ended up just being too big and the proportions were off. So I used this vessel instead. It's actually a pitcher, and it came with a beautiful bowl too. But you'll see that I use pitchers for vases for pretty much everything. Those are like my favorite items to thrift because they are so unique. They have so much character, and they just spruce up a space and make it feel so cozy and homey. Big thing that I love to do in our home is make everything practical and functional for us. So this is like the back of our couch, and I keep like all of my books and the prayer journals that I use for the kids and everything in this area because that's where I sit. But I have found that it was kind of sliding around. Sometimes it would fall over. Our cats would kind of knock things down. So I want things to be practical, but also practical for the season of life that we're in and with our animals. And it was already kind of hard to have a lamp over here. we've had 3 lamps already break so far in this area. And so for now, I ended up putting the books back, but I'm in search of a basket that I can put everything inside of, because right now using the lamp as a holder for that is just not working. And I think a basket holding all of those, like a thin basket, would work really well. So we'll see. I am still in search of an item like this, but I did lots of layers in this corner with 2 different vases. I feel like it just makes it feel fresh and new. I am using a lot of stems, and I would love to be able to use flowers and fresh flowers, but it's just not realistic with the amount of spaces that I have to decorate. I do leave 2 main areas to put fresh flowers in, and I'll show you those when I get to them, but I do use a lot of stems, and I've collected them throughout the years. My husband and I have been homemakers for 8 years now, or we've been homeowners for 8 years now, so I've been a homemaker for 8 years now, and so I've collected quite a lot of things over the years. But this picture frame, oh my goodness, I found this at Home Goods. It looks vintage, it looks antique, it looks like something you would find at an auction. It is just so beautiful, and I love the amount of color that it brought in. I really want to hang it in the middle of the window, which I know is not traditional. It's not where you hang things. And to my husband and my family members, sometimes you're like, why do you like hang things where they shouldn't be hung? And I'm like, because it shouldn't be hung there. And I feel like it just looks really beautiful. Like, these windows that we have here are so Victorian and just so grand that I feel like having a picture right in the middle would just look so great. So I have it temporarily put there. When my husband gets back home, I'm going to see what he thinks. But if not, I do have a couple of other spots in the corner. You can't see it here, but we have a wall on both sides of the other windows that I could hang it up and put one more picture frame on top and just kind of do a little two-way thing. Now, our breakfast nook is where we eat pretty much every single meal. It is the most well-loved space in our home, and I try not to put the vases or anything really in the middle that's going to be too big that we feel the need to move it in order to see who's across the table from us. And so I started with this pink plant, or these pink hydrangeas, but I actually did end up changing them because when you sit down, they end up, you can't see across the table as well. And my children are already really short, and so I want to be able to see everyone and see their smiles. This is a really practical space for us because with this basket, I always have salt and pepper at the table. I always have some type of pitcher. Before I had a copper pitcher. I'm always changing out our pitchers, but we use our pitchers. I fill up the kids' waters with it all the time, and then we do candlelit dinners. So I like to have some candlesticks near or around here so that it's easy for me to light them at night whenever it's time for us to have dinner as a family. And so find the flow of your family and then put the appropriate pieces where it flows and makes sense, but then make it beautiful. Like our salt and pepper shaker, they're so cute, and our pitchers are so cute. But let's move on to the kitchen sink area. Now, I spent a lot of time here, and I wanted to we have these really beautiful antique inside of our pantry. You can kind of see it. They're just like plates that I had hung up. Now here I usually have fresh herbs, but I hadn't had a chance to go to the store yet, and so I temporarily put these here. But that's a rosemary tree, and I usually have basil and mint and a couple of different things. So the next time I go to the store, I'm going to stop and get some. I currently am seeding and have seeds growing in our laundry room of different herbs, but those will be for our garden outside. But I do like to keep it fresh and just accessible indoors to me. And here I am again trying to figure out and see if I could put a picture frame on top of the window. It didn't end up working though. It was a little bit too small, but Again, very practical area. I like to have a cute little dish, and then I like to have a pitcher that holds different things. Now, this little dish that I currently have is one of my favorites. It has broken so many different times, and my mother-in-law is so sweet and goes and gets it, and she goes and glues it back and like does like this, she uses like this ceramic thing to fill it back in. Like if you look at it up close, it is all cracked, but I love it and adore it, and I just love having it there. But it is time to switch out for something else. So I wanted this really cute little blue vase that I thrifted a while ago, and then I did switch out the little platter for a different like little tea coaster that I had for our tea set that we have, and simple and easy. Now, these little corners, I had these niches made while we were building, and I literally brought in my spices, and I had our carpenter build them perfectly to be able to fit them. And it's just so beautiful, yet so practical. I was really hesitant on using these little cute labeled spices because I thought it would be really tedious to constantly refill them. But honestly, it has not been the case. And if anything, when I'm going to grocery shop on Sundays, it makes it so easy for me because I literally just skim and see like, okay, what do we need? Okay, we need more parsley and we need more basil. Okay, great. And it just like, I can just, I don't know, it's just like made it so simple where I can see exactly what we need and don't need. And it really doesn't take much. And these are like the perfect size that if you are completely empty, you can dump an entire container inside of it and not have any left over. Now, there are certain things I buy in bulk, and the one that I do buy in bulk, I have a bigger jar. I don't know if you could see it. I don't think I had it in this clip, but I have a parsley jar and salt jar that are like giant. They're like 3 times the size of these. And so when I do buy them in bulk, I put them in those larger ones. And again, I don't end up having an excessive amount that it's like double storing things. So anyway, onto the other side, I really wanted to change out my utensil holder, but I tried 3 different vases and none of them were working. It works really well to have a really open, wide top vase to be able to get to all of your utensils. So I switched out a couple different ways and I ended up just going back to what I had. I'm gonna write it down in my notes app, and next time I go thrifting, I'm gonna look for a wide mouth jar of some sort to put in this corner, because I'm doing these like basket of flowers here, but I ended up changing that the next time I cooked because I was like, okay, this is not practical. And so there is a fine line of like having things look beautiful, but then you also need things to be practical. And I remember the entire time I was cooking, I kept going back there and being like, I need a spoon, and then it's like a basket of flowers. I'm like, I don't need that here right now. So I did end up changing this out, but try things out. You don't know until you know or don't know. And so I thought this would look really beautiful. I thought I would enjoy looking at the flowers, but I really enjoy a more practical kitchen. I don't want to be scrambling and hurrying through my kitchen trying to find things. I just want things to be accessible to me. This next corner of my kitchen is a piece that I do regret. Now, when we were building this home, because we were building it for so long, my intentions of decor and space have drastically changed. I really try to not have shelves and things that just collect dust. I truly want everything that is displayed to be something that I use and reach for and grab for. And because this shelf is so large, it does end up being a space that collects a lot of dust, and I don't know that I would have added this again and having the new mindset that I have with decor. So just know that I am going to end up filling it with things that I do reach for and do need frequently, but there are some parts of it that I end up just having to fill with things because I just needed it filled. I have left it completely bare and blank, but it echoed so much in here, and so I ended up having to change it and just add more things to it. But again, I'm trying to fill it with beautiful things, colorful things. I think this is the area that ended up looking the most colorful. But like I had mentioned earlier, we use pictures to fill up our waters and the kids' waters, but I like changing them out. And when we have guests over, we end up having to fill up multiple pitchers of water. And so I thought, why not just fill this little corner with different pictures and different options. The kids really like using the small blue one for their friends when they come over and get to like fill up their friends' cups. So I thought having these all here just worked really well because it's practical. We used them and they look so cute with all the colors. I also used oranges and apples and limes as a way to bring in pops of color. Displaying your food and fresh produce is such an easy way to bring in life and color into a space that I really enjoy it. Now I kind of had to think outside the box here because I had this basket I really loved and I had these flowers that I really loved. And so you can really manipulate stems sometimes to get them to fit exactly where you want, and that's really what I had to do in this case. But I loved the way that it added such dimension. I just love all the color that ended up being here. The very last drawer up here is so difficult for me. I decided to put this lamp that was one of the lamps that ended up breaking, that was in the corner of our family room, and I just couldn't let it go. It was one of my favorite. I thrifted it like over several years ago, and so I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna stick it up there because it's so cute. It doesn't work anyway. I could always put one of those like reusable lights or like light bulbs that you just like turn on and off. But here is one of the spaces that I like to do fresh flowers. On our coffee table, I have found that I just like doing one large vase. That's pretty much all that our family can handle. I have done it in the past where I'm just like filling it with books and different things, and it just doesn't work. One vase is plenty enough for us. Now the last thing, when I was at Home Goods, I did get some pillows. I am not one to spend $80 on a pillow. These pillows were less than $24 and they are stunning. They did need some fluffing and extra love because they felt really stiff to me. I tried taking some fluff out of one, but that just wasn't going to work. So I gave them to my son and he was stomping on them and jumping on them, and that really helped give it a lived-in look. But this is what I did to kind of spruce up our space for the spring. I'll see you next video. Bye.